Hello, this is Ethan Leeds from the Facebook group Empower the Body to Fight Cancer Naturally, and I'd like to discuss today a very important subject, a missing link for the health of millions and millions of us that many people are unaware of. The information in front of you right there is about a study that was done on some land in California, and they grew spinach and they looked at the nutritional content, and they then looked at the same thing, the same land, again looking at spinach in 1997, and they found that you would need to eat 43 bowls of spinach in 1997 to get the same nutrition that just one bowl provided in 1953. And that information is absolutely shocking. And the result of that fact is that many people are chronically sick with all kinds of health problems, and they're completely unaware of these facts. So I'd like to discuss that. This particular meme says the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. Well, if you're using plants grown in soil that doesn't have the minerals, then the plants cannot have the minerals, because the plants get their minerals from the soil. So it's going to be very difficult to actually prevent or cure disease with plants grown in the soil of a modern farm. So we need to understand a little bit about minerals first. Our bodies simply cannot survive without minerals. They cannot make minerals. They have to get minerals from food. And those minerals help to maintain the immune system. Our bones absolutely need minerals. Enzyme function requires minerals. To balance our pH, to not become too acidic, we need minerals. Our cellular health is totally dependent upon minerals. And many people don't realize it, but without minerals, even your vitamins are useless. You cannot absorb vitamins if you haven't got the minerals. So minerals are a foundation to health. You cannot have good health without having the minerals that your body needs. And we're told, let me just make that a bit bigger so that you can see it. We're told, according to the US Senate report, that 99% of Americans are deficient in minerals. And they go on to acknowledge the importance of minerals, reference disease, that you'd get disease without sufficient minerals. So 99% of Americans are deficient in minerals. That means that you, almost certainly, are deficient in minerals. And what is that going to do to your health? You're going to eventually, if you haven't already got disease, if you haven't already got pains and aches and digestive issues and allergies and skin problems and heart conditions, if you haven't got them now, you will have if you remain in deficiency. According to Dr. Gary Price Todd, MD and best-selling author, he tells us that our bodies need at least 60 minerals every day in order to maintain a disease and ailment-free state. Now, most of us don't even know 60 minerals. It doesn't matter whether you know them or not, but you need them. And we should be getting them from our food. But we're not. Let's make that a little larger too. So he says here, plant-based whole foods are the most powerful disease-modifying tools available to practitioners, more powerful than any drugs or surgeries. That's true, if the plants have the minerals. Here's a study done by the US Department of Agriculture looking at the mineral content of vegetables from 1914 to 1997. And you can see the graph, the line here, starts off up here in 1914 and takes a sharp decline really rapidly, like all the way down here until it comes to 1997, when the mineral content is negligible. It's ridiculously lower. So again, I say, if it's not in the food, it cannot be in us, and if it's not in us, we're going to have problems. Let's take a look at an apple. Now, there's a famous saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, that saying is quite an old saying, and it may well have been true then, but today the content of nutrition in an apple has dipped so severely that we can see in one case, in the case of iron, it's literally 96.09% lower than it was in 1914 as opposed to 1992. God alone knows what it is today, because it's not getting better, it's getting worse. 96% lower iron. We have calcium 48% lower. Phosphorus 84% lower. Magnesium 82% lower. And there's obviously many other minerals, but these are some key ones. So the content of your apple is massively reduced. Now you need to eat apples by the bucket load. And of course then you have probably too much of certain things, like too much sugars, for example. Okay, even when we look at meat, we're looking here at ground beef and chicken. And it's not as extreme as plants, but we see that calcium is down 16%, iron 20%. Let's have a look at some others. We've got potassium 16%, vitamin A 70%. Vitamin A is of course very important for eye health. So if your eyes are not as good as they should be, maybe it's because you're struggling to get enough vitamin A. Thiamine down 31%, and so on. So again, even our animals, because of course our animals eat plants, and if it's not in the plants, it's going to have difficulty getting into them. It's going to be difficult. So our meat is low, our plants is extremely low, our soil is horribly low. Again, another study looking at the soil in various countries, and we see that North America, the soil is down 85%, South America 76%, Asia 76%, Africa 74%, Europe 72%, and Australia, still bad but not as bad as us, 55% lower. So if the minerals are not in the soil, how can they be in the plants? They can't. So the plants may look the same, but they haven't got the same properties. So in the past, plants were grown in soil with lots and lots of minerals, but today, very, very few minerals. They look just the same, but they're not the same. They're not doing us the same good that they were. I want to talk a little bit about different types of minerals, because we talked a little bit about minerals in plants and minerals in soil, and they're very different. I want to read this quote by Dr. Charles Mayo, who says, water hardness, brackets inorganic minerals in solution. Inorganic minerals in solution would be rock metallic based minerals. They're inorganic, and that's what they're from, rocks and metals. So he says that these type of minerals are the underlying cause of many, if not all, of the diseases resulting from poisons in the intestinal tract. These hard minerals, or rock metallic minerals, pass from the intestinal walls and get into the lymphatic system, which delivers all of its products to the blood. Okay, so this stuff gets into the blood, these toxins into the blood, which in turn distributes to all parts of the body. This is the cause of much human disease. So what he's saying here is there's a type of mineral, an inorganic mineral, which is toxic to the human body, and it gets it from the gut, the intestinal tract, and then into the blood, and it poisons us. And it's the result of many, many diseases. That's what he's saying. So metallic minerals, rock minerals, are just crushed rocks. Or metals, and that unfortunately is what's being made into nearly all the mineral supplements that you can buy. Nearly all of them, especially in the stores, if you go and buy mineral supplements, they're going to be these cheaper metallic minerals. They're going to be crushed rocks, and as we've just read from Dr. Mayo, that is very, very dangerous. They've done many, many studies that have shown that people, for example, who take calcium supplements die younger than people who don't, and that seems a puzzle to people that think that minerals are good for us and vitamins are good for us, so surely if we take supplements it should help. Well, it depends on the supplement that you take, but if you're taking crushed rocks, which is what nearly all the calcium supplements are, then no, it's not going to be good for you, because your body, while it can absorb a little bit of it, so you can typically absorb between 10 and 20% of rock-based minerals if they're small enough, if maybe in colloidal form or something. The smaller it gets, the easier. But you can absorb a bit of it. But first of all, the bit that you absorb is not as readily utilised by the body's cells, so it's not used as effectively. But worse than that, the part that you can't absorb, the like 80 to 90% that you don't absorb, that's still in your body, and your body's got to do something with it. So what does it do with it? It treats it as a toxin, which it is, and it dumps it somewhere in your body. And that's when you start getting things like kidney stones or gallstones. That's when you start getting things like cataracts, when your body's just dumping this rock deposits in your body. Your joints it starts dumping them around your joints, and your joints start stiffening up. You're basically turning them into stone. You get bone spurs, you get furring up of the arteries, and then you get heart attacks and so on. That's all this rock minerals that your body's having to deal with and get rid of somehow. So you really, really do not want to be eating crushed rocks just because it's in a supplement. You don't want it. I see that. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, which I'm struggling. There we go. Okay, so rock minerals are good, however, for plants. So plants are able to take up rock minerals, elemental minerals, into their roots, and then they can actually convert them and modify them into organic minerals, which suddenly now we can use. Once the plant has converted it, it changes it into a state that our body can use very, very effectively. And so if I can explain it like this, so certain minerals are very, very toxic. So aluminium, you're probably aware that aluminium is toxic to our body. It is toxic to our body. However, that's only if it's in its elemental state. If aluminium has been absorbed by a plant and converted, it now becomes a mineral that our bodies actually not only can use, but need. We need aluminium. We just need it in a form that our body can use. And that is after it's been through a plant. But if it's in its elemental form, it's toxic to us. Another example of that would be arsenic. Arsenic is a terrible poison in its elemental form. Once it's been through a plant, suddenly it's a useful mineral that our body needs. Not just can use, it absolutely needs it. We need these things. So, that's how massive a deal it is. It can literally switch from something that kills us and poisons us to something that we need once it's been through a plant. We need plant minerals, not rock minerals. One of the reasons that rock minerals are so difficult for our body to use is the size of them. So if we scale a plant mineral up to the size of a pinhead, and we use the same scale for a rock mineral, the rock mineral would be the size of a football. The plant mineral, pinhead; the rock mineral, football. That's the difference in size between the two. It is massive. So the rock mineral is far too big to be easily absorbed, whereas the plant mineral is 7,000 times smaller than a human blood cell. So very, very easy to absorb. Another part of the problem is that the rock mineral has a positive charge as opposed to the negative charge of a plant mineral. Now that has an effect because the gut will attract the negative charged plant mineral, whereas it will push away the positively charged rock mineral. So again, making it much more difficult for the body to use. The body will literally push it away. So the rock mineral, in every way you look at it, is not something that your body wants. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the blood after someone has taken plant-based minerals. So you can see the before here. This is red blood cells, and you can see that they're misshapen, that they're sticking together and clumping, which makes it very difficult for them to travel to where they need to go. It makes it very difficult and limits their ability to carry oxygen and nutrients. So you can see all the pollutants here in the blood as well. Okay, so which is what Dr. Mayo was talking about. Okay, so 5 weeks later, after this person has taken plant-based minerals, you can see the difference to his blood. So now the red blood cells are the correct shape, they're no longer sticking together, they're free-flowing, they're able to carry their oxygen load and the nutrition to where they need to go. And it's very, very important to your health that your blood is able to do its job, that your blood does an awful lot of things, but two of the important things here: it's carrying the oxygen to your cells. Now, what does that do? Well, it does lots of things, but one of the things it does, which is very popular to talk about on Facebook when people talk about health, they talk about alkalizing and eating alkaline foods and so on. Well, there's a lot of myth about that, but we do need to be, our blood needs to be slightly alkaline and so on. And the blood, if it's oxygenated, will be alkaline, because oxygen alkalizes. So if it can carry oxygen effectively, it's going to be able to alkalize. If you have low oxygen, then it becomes acidic. Low oxygen equals acidic, high oxygen equals alkaline. So when your blood can carry oxygen, that has a major effect on your health. And I'll say you can't have energy without oxygen. That's part of the process of giving energy to the cell. It's using oxygen. So you get energy, you get alkalization, you also get the nutrients that your cells need, because it's the blood's job to carry the nutrients. So if you're taking all these supplements and got wonderful nutrition that your blood can't actually take to the cells, that's useless. You need the minerals so that your blood can be healthy and do its job of taking the nutrients to wherever it needs to go, taking the oxygen to wherever it needs to go. So this just clearly shows the difference in the blood when someone has had the correct type of minerals, not rock minerals which actually go into the blood and poison it, but plant minerals which cleanse it, clean it, and help it to do its job properly. So my advice: get plant minerals. Here's a typical example of one mineral. We've got the mineral cobalt here. Now, cobalt is essential for the functioning of red blood cells. Now, you may not know much about cobalt. It doesn't matter what you know about it. It's an essential trace mineral. And where are you getting it from? Because if it's not in the soil, it's not in your plants. If it's not in your plants, even if you're eating loads of them, you won't be getting it. And then your red blood cells won't be working properly, and then you won't be getting enough oxygen, you won't be getting other nutrients, just for this one little mineral. And there's 60 plus other minerals that you may not have heard of or may not know much about, but your body needs, and isn't in your food. You have to supplement with it, and you have to supplement not with rock ones, not with sea salt ones, which are rock minerals, not with any of that. You need plant-based minerals. So my suggestion now: go to www.ancientplantminerals.com. There's a video on the front page. You can learn more about plant-based minerals, and I suggest that you get yourself started on sizzling minerals. Sizzling minerals are plant-based minerals. They, in fact, because plants haven't got the minerals anymore, what they've had to do is they've had to go to ancient prehistoric plants from the days when the dinosaurs roamed the earth and the plants were huge and the animals were huge and the minerals were thick and rich in the soils, and they've gone back to those plants to take the minerals from those. And basically you get a little tube of tabs, and you drop one into water, preferably distilled water, and it's like an efflorescent tab. It will fizz up, and it's slightly fizzy, and it will taste of whatever the flavour you choose: orange, lemon, lime, cherry, or no flavour at all if you prefer. And that is going to provide you with all 75 minerals. We maybe only need 60, but there's extra minerals that probably, as they do more research, they're going to discover that you need those too. But you've got some 75 minerals in there, and it will cover your daily needs for all your trace minerals, and it will also provide macro minerals. You can top up macro minerals with other plant-based forms and what have you. So, but I would suggest you get onto that, have it every day. It is something that can change your life. I can't be too enthusiastic about minerals. You need them. They're not in your food. You have to supplement. You have to supplement with plant-based ones. These minerals in the UK, they cost about 80 pence per day for your daily requirements, and the equivalent kind of cost in the US and Europe and so on. So ancientplantminerals.com, get over there, get onto them, or if you want to ask questions, please please just ask, message me, ask me anything you want, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was useful. Have a great day. Thank you very much.